Welcome back to Copperhead Kustoms and a new episode. If you're new, go down here, look at all our old stuff, hundreds of videos now, and channel's growing, so you want to get on board as quick as you can. Anyway, what we're going to do today, something a bit different, and this is mainly, I want you guys to comment and give me your opinions on this. So first we'll walk around it. This is a 1939 Plymouth. You can call it a Chrysler. It's a Chrysler Plymouth. Now this is a really cool looking car, and it is very solid. So as you can see, the front of this is just freaking beastly, alright? So this is something I picked up a while ago. I was gonna do a bit of a deal with someone to do some work on one of my chassis and stuff, but it's not going to happen. So we're going to keep it and we're going to do it up ourselves. It was something that I was always a bit iffy on doing because it's such a badass looking car. So inside it is most of the trims, as in chrome, glass, etc. We've got no motor in there, no interior. And I think we'll probably have to swap the diff out, I'd say. I haven't really had a good look at that. And so this is something I picked up that someone had been tinkering on for a long time. And as what happens with a lot of these things that I buy, people get burnt out on them. I can't finish them. So as you can see, just from the start, we've got to put a new boot deck on. We actually have the skin, but it's a bit roachy. So that's basically the only rust is in there. You can see. It's basically the only rust in the car. The rest of the car is very good. You can see they've done some work on the doors, but we'll come around this side. You can see they've done it on here as well. We've got a little layer of mud in there, but if you actually have a look on the insides, they're very good. Yes. So, and the same on this one. It's very good, see? Not even any rust repairs. No rust. Floor, no rust. This is a very solid car. It is a very good foundation, this thing. As you can see, the dash has been primed. So obviously we'll be painting the dash in some way, shape or form. So I've got a few different ideas. We'll keep looking. Very aggressive nose. It's very aggressive nose, and I actually really like this. I really like the nose. I'm struggling to get you good shots because there's crap everywhere up here at the moment, but as you can see, that is a badass looking jigger. All right, so first, this is what we'll do first thing I want you to comment and I want people's ideas, advice of what to do with this sucker, eh? So we're going to build it, all right? Whether we try to do it as a 5 grander, I don't know. We may struggle to build this for 5 grand because we need so much. We might be able to do it. Now, if you've been following us, you'll know that I have a 1940 Chevy that we are about to do a 5 grand build on. So it's very similar style of car. Yeah, it's the 4-door suicide type. It's basically we have the Chevy version of this, and we've got the Chrysler version, right? So with the Chevy, it's full rat rod patinaed. The way the Chevy one looks at the moment, and if you haven't seen it, go down there and have a look. The way the body looks on that is how we're doing the Chev. We're just going to put a little 6-cylinder in it. We're building a budget build. It has a standard interior. We're basically just building it as it is. We're not going to chop it. We're not going to do anything, okay, with the Chev. Now with this one, I want some thoughts. I want some thoughts of what you think. So first and foremost, let's have a look at, they're nearly solid enough to stand on, I think. Yeah. So we've got our roof. It's just paint flaking, but it's very solid. Okay, as you can see up here, it is solid as a rock. This car is solid as. All right, it is one of the best foundations to build a hot rod from that you can get. A lot of these are roached out, and a rubbish. This thing is pretty damn good. All right, so first question is, what do we do? Do we chop it? Do we leave it? Now, as you can see, it does have some pretty bad ass. It is pretty, probably more so than the Chev. The Chev's probably taller, I'd say, in through there. I think this one is a bit more squashy. So it is a pretty tough looking thing as it is, as it stands. But do we chop it? Right, it's a fair old job. It's not an easy chop. It's not the easiest chop to do. I'll have to really get my head around how to do it, because it is pretty full on. Now, we do have every window. We may be missing one. That's something else to consider, is we do have most of the glass for this. But I think watching a bloke in Canada, he trims his own glass. Now, I know we can probably take the glass to a glass shop, but I think I've watched him trim them down. When he's done roof chops, he's trimmed them down himself. So it shouldn't be too big. So should we do a chop? Do we do a, I don't know, I suppose you'd be looking at a, you've got to take at least 3 inch, between 3, you can nearly do a 6-inch chop maybe. Between a 3 and 6-inch chop, do we do that? Right, or would it look a bit weird? I don't know. So drop your comments on doing a chop. Just a straight chop, drop the roof down. We'd have to change the angle of the back there a bit. It'd be more sloped. We'd probably have to stretch it a bit. So that's one idea. Okay. Second idea is, do we do a chop where we kind of eliminate, so in the back there, we sort of do a V out of that and lay that boot where it's sitting there like this. We lay that down more like that, and basically nearly lose that window and bring it up. So we basically, do we do that where we basically lose that back window, V out here, and lay this down on this sort of angle into our chop. And that's another one, keeping it a 4-door. That's another option. Another option is, this is pretty full on, is, well, we actually bring the pillar back, this pillar back into here, and make it a big 2-door. Because I think to do it a 2-door, you'd have to lengthen those doors. I think otherwise it could look weird. But we do the same. We lay the boot down and we bring the boot all the way along like this, and then we bring this roof line up to, say, here, then have our roof line come up and chop across. Now that is mega work. Or do we just leave it? So that's our first. There's 3 different design ideas I've got about what to do with the roof. We could turn it into a 2-door, fully change the angle of this to put it like that, and we bring it along like there. Then we come into this roof section like this here, if that makes sense. So we can bring in our boot along there, go like this, then we go up and then across there like that, and turn it into a 2-door. Do we leave it as a 4-door and we just basically chop the roof down and maybe change that angle a bit, maybe even do a rear window delete there? That's our second option. Third option is we just do a 3-inch or 6-inch chop or whatever, and just drop the roof straight down, boom, down to there, something like that, and not even mess with the back. So there's 3 ideas of chopping. Our other idea is, do we just leave it? Do you think it looks badass as it is? It does look pretty good, because it's, I know it is a hell of a lot of work, but it's what we want to do. What do we want to do? We need to definitely dump that ass in. You can see the front's nice and low and it's pretty tough. So there's our 3 options on the design of the car. All right. So drop your comments on that. Now, our next thing I want comments on is, what should we get as a donor? Remembering we are in Australia, what do we want to do with our motor? Do we just want to get this thing like and try to do it on a budget where we get a 6-cylinder or whatever, or a V8? What do we want to do with this? Do we just want to go and get a little small block Chevy, and throw a little Chevy in it? Do we want to keep this Dodge Chrysler all the way through? And go get a 318 or a 360 or even a 265 6-cylinder or something is another option. But I do know the Dodge stuff is quite It's a bit pricey, right? Another option we have is we could go get like maybe a Jeep, a V8 Jeep. And I think they run a 4.7. I don't know much about them, and put a 4.7 in it. I don't know how well we'd go with that. We've also got the option of trying to find a smashed up Chrysler 300. So we could try to find a V8 one, but it will be dear if we do it that way. Even like we could do the V6 or the V6 diesel. Now you'll go, what? I had one of those Chryslers with the V6 diesel in it, which is a Mercedes diesel motor, and it had done 680,000 kilometers, and it still ran like it was freaking brand new. Okay, like those things are near on indestructible, I reckon. Those diesels. So that's another option. So drop your comments down on motor, or do we just do our $5 budget? We go get an old Holden 6-cylinder, and you get a Holden 6-cylinder in it and get it freaking driving around, and we do it as a budget. So I want comments down of what you guys, the viewers, would like to see me try to do with this. Now this one, we probably won't be on it straight away. We've got a few in front of it, but I just thought I'd show it to you, and because we are going to build this now, so I thought I'd just touch back in with this car, have a look at it, and get some ideas, because it has wicked lines. This thing has wicked lines, and it is a great, and do we want to, and then what do we want to do? Do we just want to continue the ratty themes, or do we actually want to paint one? Like, I know you're probably going to say paint it. Now, you remember when you paint them, it's a freaking hell of a lot more work. Admittedly, this one is half there. I actually really liked the red. I really liked the red look on it, the red and black. My original thought on this car, right, so we'll go back. My original thought was to get some more red on there, red the doors out to look like this. Okay. Same with the bonnet and the top of the nose, was to get them red looking like that. Okay, pretty easy done. Do the guards in the black patina, the guards and the running boards, and red patina the rest. That was my original plan, and my original plan was to basically reassemble it, not chop it, not do anything, just reassemble it, get a motor in it, get it running. That was my original plan. But you got to remember, we do have the 40 Chev, so that means we're going to have two that are basically the same. So then I started thinking, maybe this is one we chop. So, like I said, drop some comments down. That's all this video is. I just want feedback. I want feedback from you guys, the viewers, because you're going to have to watch what I do. Now, I get to keep the car at the end of the day, yeah. But, so I've got to be happy with what I do. But it's got to be something you guys want to watch. There's no point me spending weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks chopping the roof off it if you guys aren't even interested in watching it. Yeah, at the end of the day, I'll get a chopped car. Well, it's a lot of freaking work. It's a hell of a lot of work to chop it. Is this even the car I want to do that to? I don't know. So let's have a proper look at some body lines. Now, one thing I'm just looking at off the bat is, that sort of does help us, is our pillars. It's hard to do without that. Our pillars are pretty well straight up and down. All right, so I think we can chop 3 inches out of this front without having too much concern about having to widen the front of the roof, okay? Because that would be nasty with that little widow's peak in it, okay? So I think we can actually drop 3 inches out of there and just squash it straight down. Now, of course, when you chop 3 inches out of here, well then this comes down here. It doesn't line up, does it? Because that's chopped there. So that's come straight down there. It doesn't line up, does it? So you've either got to change your angles and lay this back more, which can really affect the shape of the car, or you have to cut through and bring that forward. Boom. Okay? So, but then if we do some weird funky shit at the back, we mightn't have to do a lot, like, so yeah, we just got to really think about how we want to do it, right? But first look, that will work pretty good. Okay, now if we look here, this roof does have a bit of a, like that. So when we move the roof forward, if we were to move the roof forward, we will have issues in around here. Now let's open this up and have a look so you can see the ideas. Now it won't be much though to cut that pillar and move that. Now I'll have to have a look underneath. There's probably could be some reinforcing shit underneath, I don't know, but that could be done. Bring that to there. And what we can do is, there's two ways of doing this, is we can basically cut them straight through, like the doors I'm talking. We could just cut that straight across here. Basically, for argument's sake, you could lop this off here and lop this here and just bring that forward and weld that onto there. That's sort of one sort of way we could do something. Maybe there's a few different ways of extending these doors. We could just chop the door straight down and then remake the center sections. Like I'm saying, if we go moving those doors and pillars, it's a freaking hell of a lot of work. So I don't particularly want to do that if I can avoid it. If I could do my original design that I thought of, which is we cut a wedge out of here, hopefully you're looking, we cut a big triangle out of this and lay this down a bit, okay, to get rid of that hump. So we lay that down. We would have cut this off, and actually I originally wanted to bring that up here somewhere so that it looked like it had, so it looked a bit more like maybe a, I don't know, a 48, I think it is, maybe a 48 business coupe type. So this was more like a look, you know, more like this, and then it comes into the roof. The roof starts like here and goes woof like that, and then comes across there like that, and maybe there 3 inches out, boom. So that's what my original, but that is a lot of freaking fabrication, okay? Now I've never done a roof chop. I don't know if this is the car I want to do the first roof chop on either, because this is quite involved to do this one, especially the way I've got it in my head of what I want to do. Now it is metal, doesn't matter if we stuff something up, we can, it's metal, you put more metal in and weld it up. But do we want to even chop this car? It is so solid. Do we even want to do that? Like I said, drop your comments. It'll be a boring old video of just me talking malarkey, but I want ideas on this car, okay? I want ideas. Alright, we'll go. And we will, like we always say, we'll thank you for watching it. Hopefully you did. Drop your comments down. Drop them down there. What do we freaking do with this sucker? And tomorrow we'll be back on the Bedfords, I say, and we'll continue to finish that one off and get that out of the shed so stuff like this can start heading back in. So, as you can see, I've got the trailer on. I'm going to pick up my chassis, my 32 chassis. So that's something else that will keep you all glued to the screen. Is we're going to get on that 32 chassis and start doing some work on that. Alright, and get that 32 happening. I think we're going to, as soon as we get that Bedford out of the shed, the 32, we're going to put the 32 chassis in, start on that. And I think we're going to throw the Oakland in as well. So we're going to have the Oakland, the 40 and the 32 going. Alright, hey, how much do you want? Anyway, drop your comments on this and I'll see you next time I'm looking at you. Aripa. Aripa, buddy. Ba 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 dee ba ba. Ba 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 ba.